one more question. Somebody is trying, I don't know where they are, like now, Stephanie. Maybe I should let her talk, so maybe she can ask her question because it's a very specific question. Since your presentation is over, 1 second, let us see if I can open her mic. 1 second, Dana.
Okay.
Stephanie, let me ask her first. If you want to ask your question yourself, can you raise your hand? Stephanie, do you want to raise your hand? Stephanie? Uh, I want her to see if she wants to, she is willing to ask. Okay, she didn't raise her hand. Maybe then I can read her question. She's asking, her company is trying to ship chocolates to Australia, but DHL said they cannot ship. Please, how can we get our product there? What are the options? Stephanie, can you please put where you are located? That will help us to answer better. I don't know if she's still there or not. I see her name in the participant list.
The only thing I can think of is that it may be a country specific restriction. I did look up as I was preparing for this. I looked in that guide that I'm giving you to see, and this is, let me show you which one it is. It's the one here that says, it's the courier guide. This one, oops, I'm sorry. The DHL 2022 Courier Service Guide. It's very, it's like a couple hundred pages, but you can do a find, control find to look up your country. And you can look up chocolate, you can look up cocoa, and then it will automatically take you to that page. And I did that before I prepared for this presentation. And I did not see any restrictions on shipping cocoa or chocolate into Australia.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, looks like Stephanie is not here. In maybe her internet was weak. Now, since still we have about half an hour time, so anyone wants to ask questions, please raise your hands. We can let you talk. Otherwise, we can read the questions. So because I see some 5 or 6 questions now, so please raise your hands if any of you want to ask your questions. We can let you ask the question. Like Nick Davis, do you want to ask your question? I see his question next. Nick? Okay, looks like some of them maybe they might have to left. Okay. So Nick is okay. Somebody has raised a hand. 1 second.
It's
It's Nick,
me.
Mrs. Balu.
That's it?
It's Nick.
Hi,
Nick, you're here. Go ahead.
hi, Donna. Thank you so much for doing all of this and very clear.
hi, Nick.
The question I have is, often I've shipped chocolates to the US, which when they've arrived have been opened by US border protection officers, because I'm based in Jamaica, and obviously anything which comes from Jamaica must be being used as transshipment for unauthorized goods. So probably, 1 in 3 packages have some chocolates which are opened. Who's liable for that? Or is that just something I have to take on board?
Nick, have you filed prior notice with the FDA?
Not in every instance, no. No, sometimes it's going up on an ad hoc basis.
Okay. I believe there's a way, and I haven't done it myself, but I believe there's a way to get your prior notice approved for your chocolates in advance so that you have a prior notice on file and with the FDA, and that may preclude those one-off inspections. So it may be the type of prior notice that you filed. Instead of for every single shipment, you can file a company-wide, or annual prior notice, as long as what you're shipping doesn't vary. If there's 1 or 2 or 3 types of chocolate that you can get approved in advance, then that should suffice.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Okay, who is next? Kim, do you want to? Okay, two more participants. Okay. Lynn, you can talk now.
Well, hello, everyone. Nick, if you need any help with the prior notice, I'd be happy to help you with that. I have an account with the FDA, and it's not a big deal. It's just a headache. But just reach out to me and I can share that with you.
Thank
Donna,
you.
you bet. Donna, I want to know how we can get in touch with you, or how you work with clients. Do you work with super tiny people, companies, or tell us a little bit about how you actually work with your clients?
Yes, Lynn, thanks so much for asking that question and for offering to help with prior notice. Offline, I might like to talk to you about that as well, because I haven't been involved in that process yet, but I'd love to know how it worked for you. Yes, I have owned this InExpress franchise for 3 years. And the reason that I got into it is because we do specialize in smaller to mid-sized businesses who need help. And we take a very consultative approach. It's so funny, Lynn, that you asked, because I would say half of my customers want us to just do the work for them. Like, I don't want to know the details. I don't have time. You just handle everything and we can do that. But then I have half of my customers who want to take back control, and they want to learn the entire process. They want to know as much as they can because they're growing, and they want to be able to train their employees to create their own logistics department. So we take a very customized approach, and we hold hands along the way. We provide all the resources that you want. And the reason that we are able to provide the help and the discounts that we do is because large companies like DHL and UPS, and even the large ocean and air cargo companies, they are really wanting to focus on large customers. They are really not set up to answer a zillion questions and get a zillion emails and fix a whole bunch of billing problems and handle a lot of claims, for small customers. So they have negotiated this contract with InExpress and other companies like InExpress, because we take responsibility for customer service, for the billing, and for education. We take all of that off of their plates. And in exchange for that, they give us really nice discounts. They also assign to us a national team. So if there's a problem, for instance, with UPS or with DHL, then instead of me, if you bring that to our attention at InExpress, instead of me calling the regular DHL or 1-800 number for UPS, we actually have a team of folks assigned to InExpress as a national and global account. Where, by the way, InExpress is a global account, a global company. We're headquartered in Manchester, England. So we have very, very high level support from all of our carriers. And we have a team of people assigned to help us, so that if there is an issue with one of our customers that they consider to be very tiny, we can still get those issues addressed relatively quickly, because we're a big company, we can bubble them up to the top. And so the way we work is I give all of my customers my WhatsApp number. You can WhatsApp me, you can text me, you can email me pretty much any time of the day or night. I also have a team of support, have 5 people on my support team. They do all of the research, the quoting, the booking, they prepare documents, they do all of that tracking, prepare claims, and all of that for you. So our goal is to take as much of that work off of our customers' plates as possible, to educate them along the way as to how it works and all the do's and don'ts and tips and tricks, so that we can help streamline their logistics and save money in the process. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. It's really exciting. One thing is, it's super easy to get stuff from the US to Panama, but it is just so hard going the opposite direction. And it doesn't really make sense to me, except for what you just said, is working with the larger shipping companies. So I understand that. I did shoot you an email, and I would love to talk more with you at another time. Thank you so much for your talk today.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lynn. And the last thing I'll say is there is no fee or is no cost for working with me or within Express. I know a lot of shipping companies make you promise that you're going to have some minimum level of volume, minimum shipment requirement. We have no minimums and we have no contracts. So you can just work with us as little or as much as you'd like.
Thanks, Donna.
I see Vasu has some question. Vasu, you want to ask? Raise your hand.
Mrs. Balu, can I just say, people are in the chat asking about the prior notices. And I'm just a small one-woman chocolate shop here in Panama, but I figured it out. So it's not that hard. And if you do want help with that, or you want to just talk about it, Lou and Nick, Vasu, please let's figure out a way to have a Zoom meeting, and we can talk about that. It's not rocket science. It's just a pain in the butt.
Lynn, would you mind
Yeah.
putting your email for them to contact you directly, if that you prefer that way? Lynn?
Yes.
Yep, I just put it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sorry, I've got two puppies that are just growling in the background here.
Okay. No.
Yeah. So hey, Donna. So it was very good. So yeah, my question is around that the regulators we got when we bringing beans or chocolates specifically. So yeah, we have a FTA. Other than that, we have USDA, CBP, all the stuff, right? So how do we make sure the paperwork is correct? At the same time, right, I had that lot of penalties around it. So if you don't comply with this thing, so suppose if I work with your company, so would you be able to help on that? Can you provide more details on that?
I'm sorry, the question is about the USDA paperwork?
Yeah, USDA, customs, border protection.
That's a great question. We can help with the specific shipping paperwork, like the commercial invoice that needs to be filled out with each shipment. However, we don't get involved with the USDA or the prior notice paperwork, the FDA prior notice. We can merely just point you in the right direction. But unfortunately, that paperwork has to be filed between the shipper or the importer and the governmental organization. We can't get in the middle of that, but we're happy to research it for you and send you in the right direction, but we can't do that paperwork for you. I hope that helps.
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah, that's true. So the custom brokers would be able to help on that. Maybe if you know who can, on this area, custom brokerage area, so they can help.
Yes, we do work with many custom brokers. So if you would shoot me information about the countries and the specific commodity, if you have the HDS code, that helps. And then we can definitely put you in touch with a broker that can help get all that paperwork straight.
Sure, thank you.
Are there any other questions? I see that Mrs. Balu put my contact info in the chat.
Yeah, somebody wanted it again, so I just put it because they don't have to wait for the recorded thing. Teresa, do you have any questions for Donna?
I I couldn't possibly think of any questions. It's mind blowing. I did make a couple of notes, and you know, I appreciate that you talk about what it's all about, what you can control and what you can't control. And I guess a question I would have is, can you just, because that was so much information, maybe highlight the one most important thing that you can control and the one most important thing to keep in mind that you can't control?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think we've already hammered home that you cannot control the inspections, customs inspections, unfortunately. Now, I have had situations where we have been able to dispute the findings, and we have mixed results on disputing. If we can prove that the duties and taxes that were assessed were exorbitant and they were not in keeping with any local guidelines, we can work with you to help dispute those duties and taxes. It's not immediate, it does take time, but I have had some success in disputing duties and taxes assessed by other countries. But that's probably the biggest thing that you cannot control. Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. A lot of times that local inspector will just believe what they want to believe, and they are protected by their local government. So there's not a lot we can do there. The biggest thing that you can control is the packaging. And I think that's why I spent so much time on the packaging, because there's so much that goes into it. I have customers that, it depends on your background. There are some business people that are scientists and they're all about the ingredients. And then there's some people that are marketers and they care more about the brand and how it looks. And there's some people that come from a finance background and they care more about the cost. So there's so many aspects of the business that need to be considered when you package your stuff. So I would say, don't just do what your competition is doing. Don't just do what is the industry standard necessarily, or don't just do what you've always done. Do some trial and error, experiment, play around with your packaging to see if there is a way to improve upon it so that your goods can arrive fresher, so that your packaging can be smaller in some way so you can save on shipping, so that it can be better protected and still look good in the process. And by the way, UPS offers a packaging class. And I can find out more information about that if you want. It's really more specifically for those of you that may be shipping fragile goods, like machines as an example. But here in the US, you can go into a UPS store and they are packaging experts in the UPS store. They have gone through this special intensive packaging classing, training that UPS offers. So you can either pay a UPS store to package things for you, and I'm guessing it may be the same way in other countries, or you can actually go through that training yourself, and UPS will guide you on the best way to package. So I would say that is one of the things that are most within your control. Thanks, Teresa. Great question.
Oh, sure. Mrs. Balu, I was going to ask one more question.
No, 1 second. This is the follow-up to what Dana said about the
Yeah.
packaging, training by the UPS. Is it a webinar or a seminar? If it's a webinar, maybe also find out from UPS if all of our customers who were here today, can they join through the webinar so they can learn? So can you do that favor, Dana?
Sure, I will look into it as well. It was already on my short list because I have customers that ship glass and mirrors and fragile art pieces. And so I have other customers that want to go through that training. So I have that on my list of things to see if I can set up for my customers.
Great. Okay, so my last question is, I guess maybe it's a marketing question. You talked about consumer willingness to pay the premium for the tangible good, for the chocolate, but less willing to pay for the shipping. I can't touch shipping. I can't eat shipping. So how? But it's very important because I want my chocolate to arrive, still in temper and still as beautiful as it was when it left the creators, um, you know, hands on its way to me. Um, how can folks make that a part of their marketing strategy? Because without proper shipping, this beautiful thing that they've created may not get to where it needs to go. So how do they put, I don't know, maybe that's an ethereal question. How can they build that into their marketing strategy to impress upon people the value of this untangible thing that you don't get to hold at the end and you can't eat it, but it's a very important part of the business?
You know what, Lisa? It's not an ethereal question. And there's actually an industry trend that is pervasive in all industries. The single best way to do that is with free shipping, because that you don't want your consumer to think about shipping separately at all. You want them to think about the experience that they have in doing business with you from beginning to end, right? So the way a lot of customers do it is they're like, well, they already know that my product is worth what I'm selling it for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another X amount to the price of the goods, and in my marketing messaging, I'll say, you know what? You're paying for the entire Town experience. I'm going to get it from my door to your door. You don't have to worry about any headaches. And this is the one price that you have to pay. So in the customer's mind, it's free shipping. And all you've done is you've tried to anticipate the amount of shipping and build that into the cost of your goods. And a lot of companies are doing that across all industries. And there have been a lot of research studies lately to show that people are demanding across all industries, especially after COVID, with all these people ordering things online, they will buy something with free shipping before they will buy something without free shipping, because they don't want to have to think about the shipping at all.
But the problem we have, Dana, with the machines is, see, we have the same price for the customers all over the world. And within US, the shipping may be only $60, $75. But if I ship across the country, that can vary from anywhere from $100 to $400. How do I fix the price? Either then I'm penalizing people who are in US. They have, if I average it out, somebody is paying more than they should, because most of the time the people in the who are buying the machines, they are they're trying to start a business, so we are trying to help them. That's
Yep.
why we cannot build in the shipping charges. I understand a lot of people think the shipping charge is high. They don't understand there are a lot of things going into the packaging and everything. But at the same time, if you're, let's say if I'm selling within USA, I can do free shipping. I can average it out. It's only like few dollars.
Yeah.
It may vary from $40 to $70. You can average it to $55 or $60, something like that. But when it goes out of the country, the whole thing is completely different.
It falls apart. It's true. You're right. It only works when, and you can do an analysis, right? You can say most of my shipments go to these 5 countries. And then you do an analysis and you say it's typically this weight and dimension. But if it varies widely, then that's not possible. You just can't do it for things like machines. It's really more common with smaller consumer items like the chocolates. You can do it with chocolates, but not with big machines.
They cannot do with chocolate either, because let's say from Panama, the chocolate bar, somebody orders only like 1 kilo of chocolate, right? Or 5 chocolate bars. The 5 chocolate bars may be $40, but the shipping is $80. How do they build in the price of the shipping? Because like you showed in the packaging chart, the lower amount of chocolate, you're using more dry ice and more volume, and you're paying a lot more for shipping.
Oh,
So,
I see what you mean. Yeah, that is a function of your website. So there's certain websites that you can put all that information in behind the scenes, and your web developer can actually program your e-commerce platform so that the price will vary by weight. So if the person orders a 10-pound package, then it'll anticipate the price and it'll say free shipping and here's the cost. If the person orders an 80-pound package, it'll still say free shipping and it'll calculate in the price. But it's an algorithm that would have to be programmed in to your shopping cart in advance, so you'd have to have like a spreadsheet that anticipates what all those prices are going to be at all the different weights. It can get complicated, but I do have some customers that are doing that.
yeah.
Oh, somebody said WordPress has an app for that.
And Lynn, Lynn raised her hand. One second.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Mrs. Balu. It's really interesting. But you know what I want to say too, that if you have a great product and your clients want it, they're going to pay the shipping no matter what. I have a chocolate club. I send here in Panama, it's a monthly subscription of 4 bars per month. But for my US customers who really want it, I ship it quarterly because I just can't charge them $150 every month for 4 bars of chocolate. But so I'll send them 12 bars of chocolate quarterly. But honestly, the shipping is more than the chocolate. And, at first I thought I wasn't even gonna go down this road. I was too embarrassed. It just felt wrong, honestly. But you know what? I decided that it was time for me to get out of my own way. And it was my customer's decision if they wanted to pay the shipping or not. But I think what Donna's saying, it's an interesting exercise to actually think of how a small bespoke chocolate club could charge $300 a quarter to international clients as a one price thing, and chocolate, the shipping is built into it. It almost feels like that could be a more easier sell than trying to say the chocolate is $150 and the shipping is $150. So anyways, it's a very difficult question. And I think Amazon has really ruined it for a lot of us in terms of this whole concept of free shipping. But, that's my experience. People will pay if they want it. So thank you.
And the other thing that I've heard from my customers that are offering free shipping is that it's a numbers game, right? So they will lose money on certain shipments and then they'll make the money back on other shipments. So they do an averaging. They don't hope to make a profit or not lose money on each and every shipment. They figure that they'll be able to ship more, they'll have more customers because they're offering free shipping. So that's how they're going to get their money back, because they will lose a little bit of money on some of the shipments. So, but it takes a very complicated spreadsheet to be able to have faith in that approach.
Kim, do you want to talk?
Yeah, just for a few of the makers that we're talking about importing into the US, I am working with a university project, that's at least a 3-year project in Minnesota, trying to support makers that are outside of the US for fulfillment and warehousing here, where you would still own your inventory, but they would ship it for you from your website or from, a common website. So if that's of help for folks, it might overcome a lot of these onesie twosie import into the US type shipments. And I'm sure I will be reaching out to Donna too for more advice on how to do that. And then also you can use that same information. If Lynn gets overwhelmed, I can also help people with it with FDA prior notice. I've done quite a bit of that as well. So.
Thanks, Kim. That sounds fantastic.
As usual, this is a very giving, helpful, wonderful community of people that don't look at each other as competitors, but as, I guess, as brothers and sisters in chocolate, and each wants everyone to be successful. So I love that. Mrs. Balu, we're past the top of the hour, so.
Yeah, I think, yes, it's like total 8. So thank you all for participating in today's webinar. Thank you, Dana, for all the information. I learned something new too.
you.
You said that we can negotiate the dim weight, that I did not know that. So that's some new information that I learned today. And thank you all for participating. And thank you. Have a good rest of the day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. We will see you in our next webinar soon. Teresa, you want to talk about the next webinar?
So our next webinar, Mrs. Balu, actually has been postponed. So the next webinar will be, I believe, in July. We haven't picked the date, but July will be another networking event. So we'll all get together and talk and see how we can help each other. So it'll be another networking event, and information about the date will be forthcoming.
Yeah, the next, there's one webinar through FCIA end of this month about the machines. So if you're interested, we will post that and the people can join. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Balu. I forgot about that FCIA webinar.
It's okay. Thank you all. Thank you again. Have a
Thank you
good
very much, Donna.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll stay just a second so people can copy the chat if they need to get the contact information. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.